Never a doubt. Astros 7 and Braves 2 in game 2 of the World Series at Minute Maid Park. That's Josh. I'm JP. Appreciate you joining us tonight. The Texas Porch, Texas Talk with a touch of sports. Never a doubt in that one, right? Great starting pitching for the Rice Owls from Jose Urquidy. And the Astros get some timely hitting in that one. We'll break this one down over the next 30 minutes or so. Josh, deeper breath than last night, or how are we feeling here?
Feeling pretty good, although you just said great pitching from the Rice Owls. I think that's
Did I?
a tick for you.
Okay.
Yes, you did. You said great starting pitching for the Rice Owls. I was like,
Well,
I don't think Urquidy has any ties to Rice, although
yeah, if
if he does, y'all should get him in. But no,
yeah, there's a hypothetical for us we could play out at a later date. But yeah, sorry about that. Great pitching by Urquidy. I was trying to fumble through some text stuff behind the scenes, but I guess you know what I mean. But
no, I totally understand. I've done the same thing in a print edition that is there for everybody to read at the time where you see something like that. So no, but yeah, very different night for the Astros. Just totally flipped the script with a pitching matchup that wasn't very good for the Astros. The one big second inning got them going, and they got what they needed, get this one, and then I said last night they wouldn't be dead if they would have lost tonight, but it sure does make the task a whole lot easier going to Atlanta, tied 1-1 rather than down 2-0.
Yeah, we want your comments below. What do you think? Josh's Astros took down my Braves tonight. Comment below. We want to hear what you have to say. 1-1 series that breaks a 5-game home losing streak for the Astros in the World Series. Oh, to be a franchise that could even have that type of opportunity to have that streak alive. Betty says, yay, Astros. Hope they keep it up. Game 3 coming up Saturday. We'll be back with you there too. Invite you to check us out on our the Texas Porch Facebook and YouTube. We're also streaming on Twitter tonight. We got you covered. And also in podcast form, we invite you to subscribe. And you can get those episodes a little bit earlier. And that Mitch designed, the TexasPorch.com, that SOB Mitch, Josh, I had to get that plug out of the way. I see you all decked out there. I guess that's a Longhorn shirt now that I take a deeper look, but you had your Astros mug there. But how about it? Max Fried against Jose Urquidy starting off. The roof was open, Josh. First comment on that. We've been there calling a game before for the aforementioned Rice Owls. I love Minute Maid Park. As much as I'm not a fan of the Astros, I still love Minute Maid Park and preferred it over my team's old ballpark up a little bit north. And to have it open like that in October, that just oozed playoff baseball. That was a beautiful setting, and they broke a 4-game losing streak in the postseason with the roof open. That was just a serene setting for some top flight baseball.
A sore subject for Astro fans because the last time they actually had it open was whenever Bud Selig made them open it for the 2005 World Series.
That's right.
For the two losses. So that's where all the conspiracy theories come in. Oh, well, Manfred's got it in for them. And I saw that today, and I got a text from one of my friends like, oh, we're getting screwed again. And no, I mean that I've been to Astros games with it open, with it closed, and obviously 4 months of the year there's no way you can open it up just because it's miserable, and that's the reason they got it. They had the idea before your Rangers of, yeah, let's close this thing. Yeah. But when possible, that thing's great when it's open. It's so rare. Like some early April games, you'll get it open, and that's it, because they don't even open up in September because it's still 95 degrees then. So it was nice to have it. I mean, the visuals of it are so much better with it open than with it closed. Just feels like a different ballpark. I like it either way, but with it open, you get that skyline in the background. It's just great, especially when they come up with a win.
Didn't you think this game, like yesterday's game, going in the Braves' favor? I mean, these are 3- and 4-inning games. Obviously, the Astros had to get 27 outs, but really, with the starting pitching flipped today, both teams got deep starting pitching, but with the difference Urquidy was able to make and the early offense, that really sealed the deal. Even though the Braves scored first, it seemed like getting that starting pitching carried them early. Obviously, the Altuve home run later, but that wasn't really a difference maker. It looks great for the record books. But I think having that early production and making it a short game with another solid bullpen performance all the way around, that told a story in this game. What do you think?
Actually, the Braves didn't score first. The Astros scored in the first inning. Then Darno came back
What I
and hit the
meant.
solo. Darno came back, hit the whole solo shot immediately. We're like, oh man! And the Astros scored the four runs right after in the second inning to make it 5-1. But I mean, it's sometimes you see the announcers and you're like, yeah, of course, you idiot. It's nice to have a lead, but that's pretty much what it is. I mean, because there's been so many. I say so many. It just feels like so many. Last night where the Astros are down big early, the two Red Sox games where they were down big early, the White Sox game where they were down big in the third or fourth inning. That's been all the losses. So it's almost like with the Astros, and you were talking about it just now. If they can get through those first couple innings and it's not a total freaking disaster, then they're in pretty good shape. Like if you get through the second or third inning and you're down by 1 run or you're tied, tonight was just bonus whenever they had the big lead, then you feel good about, you let your starting pitcher go a few innings. The bullpen's just been pretty much lights out for the whole thing, which is what Click, the former guy with the Rays, kind of had in mind when he got the three semi closers, 3 good bullpen guys at the trade deadline, and it's been. I mean, it's just perfect whenever you can get through those first few innings and know, regardless, even you let your starter go as far as possible. But when it gets to the 5th or 6th inning, like tonight with Urquidy, he was so good for 5 innings and then had some hard contact there at the end of the 5th inning. You get him out, let the bullpen do their thing, and that's what they did tonight. That's just going to script of what they need tonight and what they'll need going forward, because they don't have the McCullers or Verlander or the guys that they expected to be starting and going 6 or 7 innings. Even Greinke, like their top 3 pitchers aren't 3 starting pitchers, aren't the ones that they had in mind. So nice to see. I mean, in 2019, whenever they lost, they had Greinke, Verlander, all those guys at the top of the rotation was a totally different team. So just to be able to adapt to be able to do that, just the key is getting through those first 3 or 4 innings with the starter, with getting a few runs like they did tonight. So you like having that script, and hopefully they can do that script for 3 more games.
Yeah, you think maybe Greinke would be back in game 4. I'm glad you added that, because I was going to say if they can pull this off, and like your heading said there earlier, I haven't displayed it yet, but if they can pull it off in 5 games, then my oh my, that's one of the better all around, as much as it would be tough for some fans, because it seems like all of America outside of the 713, 832, and in your case, the 936, rooting against them. I would give full baseball respect to that one, because they would have cobbled that one together against maybe the hottest team that was going at least into that series. But more on that in the pitching outlook in a little bit. But yeah, the Astros did strike first, 25-7 across the playoffs this year. The team that scores first, so that backs up what we were both saying. Hey, early offense is good offense, and that backs even complements it more with that great starting pitching. But how about Jose Urquidy's game? He had an imprint all over this game, and I'm raising my hand. I don't pretend to know of him outside of listening to some of the radio broadcasts, and tonight they made jokes with the "Hey Siri" reference. But he had his impact in that, and hey, my phone just went off there with "Hey Siri," but and it did it again. So I'll stop saying that combination of words. But he singles in Tucker to make it a 2-1 game, and the Astros would not relent in that one. But Maldonado helps out, like we were talking about with the Braves last night. The Astros just pieced together from, Siri's been good, but not this all-around stud. I mean, you're doing something right if you're starting Game 2 of the World Series in center field, but then Brantley gave them that little bit of cushion, and them getting in that second inning, getting that lead was the big separator in that game. Max Fried had not allowed a 3-run inning since July until a week ago. Now he's allowed 2 4-run inning and 2 postseason starts in a row. So that was huge. That gave them the cushion, and the bullpen pieced it together, and they end up taking the lead. What did you see as the big difference outside of that early offense that we talked about? It seemed like Siri had his impact, Maldonado, a lot of guys contributed.
Yeah, that second inning, I mean, they had it was a good inning all around, but Siri, I mean, just barely tapped the ball. He beat out the infield single, Maldonado getting the hit, and then the Braves throwing to nobody at third base and letting Siri come around to score. It just, I mean, that kind of opened the door right there for when you get 5-1, and it's just such a different game because you don't get that inning. It's 1-1. You get Urquidy out there and he gives up another solo home run or something like that, and they're down 2-1. You just start pressing. Like, it's, I mean, both of us have been around enough baseball that, it's just the one difference early in the game can make a big difference. And a 4-run second inning isn't a little thing. And that was just kind of piecing it all together. You're talking about Siri. Pretty much what he did is he was fast, because the RBI single, he barely touched, getting to third, that set up another run just by being fast. And he's a guy for the future. Like, they're just kind of rotating him and McCormick in and out since Myers, who's supposed to be their everyday center fielder, is out after he hurt his shoulder trying to rob a home run against the White Sox. So he's another one that they're not really counting on, but it's great whenever they can get something from him. But getting something from him like that, he's just a spark. Like, I think he's more of a spark, just going crazy, getting the team pumped up, because he's the one guy that hasn't been there before, or one of the guys that hadn't been there before. They've obviously had several of them, but the one out there, it kind of gets everybody pumped up, gets everybody going. And that's why Dusty Baker puts him in the lineup once every couple of games, just for that spark, which he did today.
Someone in your family would appreciate this. How about this note I see on the Twitter sphere? Jose Urquidy, the first Mexican-born pitcher in multiple World Series wins. That's pretty astonishing, considering it's not like there haven't been a lot of Mexican-born players. But we'll hear from some sound. Looks like we have Michael Brantley on and Kyle Tucker. How about Tucker too? I know he didn't just wrap the ball all around the park, but they went in depth, kind of complimenting his stance and likening it when he had that, documentary cameo with Ted Williams. He's, like you mentioned with Siri, Tucker's on another level, what he can do in the future. He seems like he's obviously was a highly touted prospect, but he's going to be one of those guys that looks like Correa will leave, and he's not going to put up those huge stats, but Tucker is definitely a big cornerstone of their future, would you say?
Well, just to rub it in a little bit to you, I remember we did a preseason MLB pod, and Kyle Tucker, he's the one that you said, yeah, he's, just whatever. And I was like, yeah, he's kind of the one that they're relying on for the future. So he's ahead of schedule.
I know, he's been that. I never said that.
I might have to go back and actually go and put it in.
Right. Yeah.
But no, he might be the MVP of the postseason for him. Just he's been consistent. He's the one that's getting the huge hits. Yordan Alvarez is he was the MVP of the NLC or ALCS. But yeah, Kyle Tucker, he's been something. And those guys, both of them, lefties going against lefties like Fried tonight, they're just not disturbed by going those lefty situations, which is great in this world of baseball now, where they're never going to see righties because they put in relievers that are lefties to face them to slow them down, and they've just been able to keep on hitting, which obviously is even more important when the Astros don't have the Verlander, the Cole, anybody else that they would have relied on in the last few years.
So how about a little bit, Julia Morales, this tweet courtesy of AT&T Sportsnet Southwest. Words with Michael Brantley and Kyle Tucker, Josh's boy, after this win. More production on the fly. It worked last night, so stands a reason it would work again tonight. But, of course, I get the little black screen not coming up at the moment. But Astros take Game 2 of the World Series to even things up at a game apiece. And why should it work? Just like your cable service that you had to switch over from. Doesn't work at the moment. That might have been some on the operator error side, but looking forward to some other of the big highlights of that game. Jose Urquidy, I mean, the margin was decided, obviously, outs to go, but Jose Urquidy hit the first pitch he saw from Drew Smyly into the Crawford boxes right after they stretched it. And it's his 22nd career postseason home run. And trouble for the Braves if he gets hot again. He had a homer and a double tonight, and that homer tied him for second most all time in the postseason with Bernie Williams. You could have given me 50 guesses, and I might have gotten Ramirez and Williams, but I don't think I would have put Altuve up in there. Might have been some Jersey bias in there, admittedly, on my part. But, man, when that guy turns it on in the postseason, he really has them clicking. They have that stat with Manhe and Correa and Bregman all getting hits that really, again, that might have been in the pregame with the guys at the desk. But when the little man is hitting with a big pop like that, as it's Captain Obvious, but that really carries them. And it did tonight. While it wasn't the final margin, he steps up in the big games.
Yeah, he just gets them going. It's he's the one that was there before everybody else outside of the only person that was there before him, surprisingly, is Jason Castro, but he was gone for a little while, and he's obviously not Jose Altuve. But he just gets him going whenever he can actually get hits. I mean, he hadn't been very good in the whole postseason. Came up with a home run tonight, which, you would think, I think his home run made it 6-2 or 7-2. You think they'd win regardless of it, but getting that home run, just because it seems like it's obviously baseball where everything changes. Suddenly you're hot whenever you get one home run after you've been 2 for 30 or whatever. He hadn't been that bad, but getting him going and, if him, Bregman, Correa, if they can get going along with Jordan and Kyle Tucker, then that's just a new level. And, that takes them to a different level, which they've got and which they kind of need to get through these games where you'd assume the pitching isn't always going to give up 2 runs or 0 runs, or I don't know. That's been the way they've won the last 3 or 4 games against the Red Sox and the Braves, but you'd assume their hitting's going to have to carry them to a few 8-5 or 7-6 wins eventually, and you need those guys going.
All right, what do you make about Friday? You got Garcia back on the hill, and he goes against Ian Anderson, who I cannot tell you anything about outside that he's 23 years old and that he's had 3 appearances, and I'm just cheating off the stat page. And he's got 3 games in this postseason. In his career, he's 3-0 in the postseason in 7 games with an ERA of below 1.5. So obviously a different story when you go on the road, but that's where the Astros have been better in these World Series, even going back into 2017. So got the buffer day in between, a little bit of rest. And what do you make of Game 3, sizing that one up?
Anderson's good. Like, you're not a 23-year-old pitcher that they put as a starter for nothing, and he's been good during the postseason. And him going against Garcia, that's another pitching matchup that kind of goes in the Braves' favor. Although if Garcia's on, he's really good, but the Braves have lefties, and Garcia has a hard time with lefties. So you would think that's almost a bonus if the Astros can get a win there. Not that I'm counting them out or anything. I don't think Anderson's going to go and totally shut them down, but that's kind of a swing game for the series. Like, I don't think the Astros are in bad shape if they lose that one, but I think the Astros are also in much better shape for Game 4 and 5 whenever the Braves I think originally the plan is a bullpen game for game 4. And with Morton going down last night, it's a bullpen game for game 5. They're not, I mean, they've got a couple of good relievers, but they're not built for that kind of thing. So you kind of like the Astros' chances in games 4 and 5 to at least get one of those. And so if somehow they can get a win in game 3, that just turns it so much in their favor of you don't think the Braves are going to win games 4 and 5. I mean, outside of if you're one of my Braves friends, who I've got a few of them, but you just think that those games are more in favor of the Astros, especially game 4, Greinke. I don't know. I mean, that's who the Astros are going to go with. That's their one option, and that's why they pulled out. Why am I blanking on the name? The guy that came in and won one and a third
Javier.
tonight. Yeah, Javier. That's Christian Javier. That's the reason why they only pitched him a little bit tonight, because that's the plan, I'm sure, is to let Greinke start it, let Javier come in for 4 innings as the bulk guy, and get him going there. But game 3, if the Astros keep those bats going, can sneak another win out of there, where the place is going to be insane for Atlanta. First World Series home game since '99. It's gonna be crazy, but the Astros don't mind that. Like, I mean, they've dealt with it all year. They're the one team that's kind of dealt for, or in a weird way that's not great to say out loud. That's kind of what they're built for, with all these awful road situations they've been in, where the teams hate them all year. They've been those villains that go in there and don't mind shutting the crowd up. So that's I mean, good or not, that's kind of the way that they think now, just despite some of those, like the Altuve being such a nice guy. But Correa thrives on that kind of stuff, where he can just go in there and be the a-hole that shuts everybody up and says, yeah, that's what I did. So I don't think they're disturbed by the environment. They went in there and won 2 in Fenway after the place was going berserk with a couple blowout losses, and they're just not disturbed by it. So I don't think that being on the road, I don't think that's a big deal for them. And that's, getting a win tonight was big, because, you go in there and you get at least one, and you at least get it back to Houston to have a chance to win it.
And one of the cruel ironies of being someone that works in sports, you've got a stinking high school football game that you have to be reporting on. So I assume you'll kind of have the laptop in the corner, paying most of your attention to that, while you see Lufkin and Caney Creek duking it out down below. At least it's, I don't know if there's some pause, at least it's a home game where you don't have to drive and listen to the radio or watch it on your phone in your car while your dad's driving, like you did in the clinching game last week when I drug you on my own radio show. But anyway, sorry you have to do all that. I know it's the job and it pays the bills, but in moments like that, it stinks that you can't just pay your undivided attention to your team. But you're a trooper. You find ways to adapt. You're a great sports fan.
It'll be on my phone, and it'll be the good thing. It's game 3, so I mean, that it is a big one, but at the same time, it's not a clincher like the last one, which was driving back. And I think the Astros clinched somewhere between Dieball and Livingston or something. But it's you adapt. There's worse things in the world than having your team on in the World Series while you're covering a football game, covering sports for a living. So that smallest harmonica thing of people that would listen to me gripe about having a game to cover while my team plays in the World Series. It's like there's worse tragedies in the world than that, than covering a football game while the Astros are playing.
It's a violin, by the way. The harmonica.
Well, just go with harmonica.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what you meant though, but I'm
glad you called me out, because it is a violin. I don't know why I said harmonica. A harmonica would be great, because it's that loud, annoying voice while it's
like a prison blues thing. That'd be the harmonica. All right, Josh, let you go. And I don't know how we're going to juggle, because I'll be on air on 100,000 watts of booming listening power. So I don't know how we're going to do, if we're going to do a Friday one, not that people care too much, and Saturday I'm working. But I guess I'm working in the day at night. It's probably easier to do the Saturday one and then Sunday Halloween special, but we'll worry about it when we have to worry about it. All right, man. Congrats to you and all the Astros fans out there. See, I said it.
You're not saying it to all Astros fans. You're saying to true Astros fans. You didn't want to say anything about the bandwagon ones. What time does Rice play on Saturday?
1:00.
So, yeah, you're good. You'll be at home in time for they're home, right? Yeah, you'll be at home in time for the game. So, well, you might not be at home, but you'll be close enough to. Yeah, we'll sort it all out. Friday's gonna be a problem in terms of this, but we'll figure it out.
All right, man. Congrats. Talk to you then.
Thanks. Talk to you then.
That's Josh. I'm JP. Astros and the Braves tied at 1. The Texas Porch, Texas Talk with a touch of sports. Make sure you subscribe. That gets it in your phones a lot sooner. And any archives you want, go on the Mitch Design, that SOB, thetexasporch.com. And, of course, we're on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Trying to build that up. And it'll eventually become as dominant as those Houston Astros, whistling to a win tonight. Have a great rest of this night. God bless you. God bless Texas. We'll talk to you next time out here on the Texas Porch.
Bang, bang.
All done. Go Rangers. Look at that. Got it in under the wire.